Hello everybody and welcome back to Space Engineers. Today we've got a ship review, guys. We are looking at the Demeterian Hound. At least I think that's how you say it. There's a couple of features on this ship which sexually arouse me, which is why I wanted to do a quick review on it. I'm going to blend this. I'm going to try and do a few review videos, but try and incorporate some nice cinematic shots as well. And also at the end I'm going to give a bit of feedback on how I think you could improve the ship. You can take it or leave it, just something I thought would differentiate it from the 700,000 million reviews there are on YouTube at the moment. So, the Demeterian Hound, I don't know how you say that. It's a screening destroyer, which is a class I've not heard of before. No mods, it's got some scripts, it's printable, DLC. Features, we'll ignore that feature for now. Simulated heat mechanics, the gun will slowly glow brighter and brighter until you stop firing, then the heat vents will kick and radiate the heat away. Good turret firing arcs, lots of fuel, atmosphere capable, fully decorated interior with multiple decks, I can attest to that. And now the big text dump. The ultimate anti-piracy vessel, living up to its name as a defender of harvest. The Demeterian Hound is equipped with the full armament of a destroyer, which in its total pales in comparison to Vessel's true primary weapon. A massive 4-barreled rotary cannon capable of outputting over 450 high-caliber shells per minute. This weapon would melt itself, as well as half of the ship, into molten sludge if it weren't for the Demeterian's state-of-the-art radiation system. Upon ceasing fire, the heat vents located near the cannon begin rapidly expelling heat via radiation and expulsion of superheated gases. This massive build-up of heat has not gone without issue, however. In one case, following a skirmish which left the ship's radiators inoperable, one destroyer was forced to flood its interior atmosphere with the residual heat to prevent catastrophic damage being done to the ship's life support systems. A second destroyer, fortunately, arrived and began evacuating the crew, but most were still grievously burned and had to have their half-melted suits removed before treatment could begin. Ouch. Since that event, all Hound crews have been given specialised boiler suits to use in case of emergencies. Take note of the numerous lockers present in every room of the ship. The Hound is atmosphere capable and possesses guns positioned specifically for use in orbitable... Oh my god. The Hound is atmosphere capable and possesses guns positioned specifically for use in orbital bombardment. The ship is equipped with required refining and fabrication systems and has relatively high fuel capacity to allow it to operate for long periods without refueling. As stated previously, it excels in an anti-piracy role because of its very flexible armament. However, on the line or in larger engagements, they often stay nearer vessels, providing fire support and screening fleets of drones or other swarming combatants. Very interesting piece of lore there. A lot of people don't go that deep into their ships, but it's nice to see. So we'll do a quick overview of the front. We have a very loose cock and ball shape going on here. We've got a long snout, which is a perfect mount for many weapons. We've got interior turrets dotted across the hull. Artillery guns, assault cannons, which are useful ship-to-ship weapons. The artillery are going to be the big boys though. No immediate point defence. We do have interior turrets, but they're not great at point defence anymore following the update. We do have external connectors, indicated by those hazard signs. Down here we have the heat expelling arrangement for the gun. I was looking through the workshop and I was like, what should I have a look at? And I saw this and I was like, I have got to have a look at this. So we have this, I don't know how to describe it, gatling gun of assault cannons mounted on the dorsal side here. It's just a beast. I mean, this thing would absolutely shred anything it comes across. As you can see, there are a large amount of guns in there. This does have the cargo storage to boot as well, so that's a useful feature. And it does spin as well, which is a nice touch. Really, really impressive small grid work here. When I saw this, I thought it was a mod. I thought my eyes were deceiving me. I was like, because the picture's from like down here, and I was like, how can a gatling gun be Did I miss an update? What's going on here? I don't play SE for 2 weeks, and there's 3x3 large grid gats. Okay. Anyway, we do have point defence in here. I'll touch on that later. Again, this thing can fly in atmosphere, which is extremely useful. Guns placed for orbital. Why do I keep saying that? Orbital bombardment. So we've got a few assault cannons and artillery turrets mounted on the bottom. Not a lot going on the top, but for a destroyer, doesn't really matter. Like a ring here, which is from something internal. Again, nothing overly impressive on the outside. It is just a nice shape. We do have what I guess you could call spaced armour here, which would absorb missile strikes. A nice protected thruster array in the rear with another point defence gun. And some use of battered armour, so overall not too bad. For a destroyer, this is pretty much as much of a destroyer as you can get in my classifications. It's built around this central weapon, which is forward facing, it's fixed. This will shred even large grids, which is excellent for a destroyer. Very focused on that ship-to-ship weaponry, but not too well armoured. Doesn't have its own point defence, would be difficult to serve as a solo ship, which I think is perfect for a destroyer. It's also pretty quick thanks to the hydrogen thrusters. We have an extremely well protected bridge up top, with various communications arrays back here as well. So solid design, solid shape, can't really go wrong. So if you didn't guess, this was numero uno, which makes me excited. The second thing is the airlocks, and it's a bit of a double-edged sword because they do take 300,000 years to open. Actually, I'll go to the port side. I've already been on the starboard side. So I press this button. Go make a cup of tea real quick, be right back. And it's open. I did have a timer up, that took 12 seconds. And we press the button again. Obviously by now you've finished your first cup of tea, so I'm going to, go make a second one. And that took 12 seconds as well. But now you are inside the ship. I love an airlock system. It's just, you can probably get a bit panicky if your ship's being shot at and you need to get into the sea as quick as possible. We've got interior turrets on the interior, which is nice. I'll try and slow down the camera movements because I know people complain nicely about how quick I move my mouse, so I'll try and slow that down. Got a ladder shaft here which takes us down to the CIC. Big open space. We've got a large reactor here. Various control suites. This is the gunnery seat. As you can see, you can access all the assault cannons. Nice use of the new console blocks. Slight visual on the jump drive and hydrogen storage there. And then various other terminals just dotted around the place here. Guessing this is for the heat suits, so you don't get melted. Nice use of the map as well. You know when someone does an interior layout map of the ship that they have truly spent some time with this, so I always do appreciate it. It's actually showing you, I believe, a view like this. So this is the dorsal side of the ship, ventral. Airlock, medical is above the airlock, and then below the airlock you've got CIC, engineering, hallways, and then the bridges up top. So that's how to use that map. Orange points connect. Got some servers back here. Here we've got a layout of the ship so you can see where damage has occurred and control that accordingly. So you can see the placement of thrusters, power, weapons, gyros. Nice use of the large reactor. You don't really see that variant inside ships very often because it's quite large. Various other LCDs dotted around for greeble. Radar control. We head back along these hallways here. We've got a big storage area. You can access the large cargo container. Very well built in, using some of those new scaffold blocks down there. And then we'll go starboard first, so supply deck. Small corridor plus a ladder passage. Got an overview of the CIC here with some shelves for components. Viewport, always a nice bonus to have viewports. And then we've got a very narrow corridor, which leads us down towards the bow. Got cargo access, more heat suits so you don't get melted, lots of lockers, lots of programmable blocks around. Got another map of the interior. You can actually head over to the port side here, which connects. Got these embrasures in place in case you need to repel boarders, I suppose. Along with an armory. Or if you just fancy shooting your mates, which won't put it past my mates. If we go up a ladder here, more of an armory, and you've got an overview of the deck with an interior turret to support any boarders that need repelling. This takes us back down the opposite side on the port. Again, same setup, shelves with components, overview of the CIC, which is very pretty, I have to say, and corridor into a door. Nice use of greeble, nice use of lighting. You've got that nice blue theme, which is continued throughout the ship. Some more viewports. Head towards the bow again through this narrow passage. And if we head up, you can see the map here. Cargo access. There's another airlock. This leads us into the bridge. So the cockpit is actually an industrial cockpit. No, it's not. It's just the regular cockpit, but it was called the industrial cockpit before, so pardon me. We've got the control seats, secondary seat, large array of LCDs going on up top, along with windows, which is absolutely splendid. Some people are like, oh, a missile would go through them. Shut. We go back through here, we've got a medical room, another map, a couple more storage areas, and then finally into the back where we've got the cryo chambers. So, what could everyone possibly be waiting for me to do on this ship? Let me just demonstrate. Yeah. That is extremely arousing. So I'm going to go get a target real quick, and we're going to blow some stuff up. So I found this ship, which obviously it's one of Reva's, so it's perfect for blowing up. It's an REC ship if you guys are interested. Let's give this a whirl. Let's just line this up here. Nothing wrong with destroying an REC ship. And here we go. I'm just going to pitch up slightly. And, I mean, that's pretty much cut a hole through a frigate extremely quickly. Let's give it a few glances. Right, so that was one strafing round. Let's have a... yeah. Yeah. Swiss cheese is what we've made. Now this will be extremely good at shredding through armour, but as you can see, components not so much. You're going to need a couple of volleys for the components. These guns are still online. This ship would still pose a pretty sizable threat. It is obviously quite a lot smaller, despite I think it's a frigate, yeah. But these guns are still online. So we're going to give it another little gentle caress and just see what happens. Yeah, there's not much left now. But yeah, I mean, overall, extremely effective weapon. I think if we spawn another one in, and let's just do a quick, like, glancing strafe, just with one volley. I think that will give us a better indication of its potential here. So let's just say, theoretically, you got caught in the crossfire, that destroyer's strafed you. This is the damage you're going to be looking at, which it doesn't seem like too much on the surface, but a lot of these shots have gone through and have damaged internal systems, which is no bueno, apart from the massive new window you've got in your ship. So a frigate would survive quite comfortably a strafe from that destroyer, but if you're sitting in that line of fire for any sort of prolonged period of time, you are not going to come out unscathed. Very, very impressive. Now, just to give a few notes on the Hound, I'd say overall there's not really much to critique here. From my perspective, this is a very, very good destroyer. It does exactly what a destroyer should do. It's equipped like a destroyer. It's got mean forward-facing weaponry. It's very focused on ship-to-ship weaponry. I'd say point defense is lacking, but for a destroyer, I think that's okay. This is intended to serve as part of a fleet, as is mentioned in the description, so that's absolutely fine. It's quick, it's lightly armed and armoured, which is absolutely fine. Apart from obviously the forward-facing massive gatling gun. Overall, it's a very, very solid, the bridge is well protected, the thrusters are well protected. It's a very solid design. There are a couple things which I would say about this ship could do with some work. Number one is the time it takes to get to the bridge. I'd be tempted to just saw a hole through like one of these windows or something if you're in a panic, because with the airlock time you're looking at 24 seconds to just get into the ship. And then you've got various ladders and passageways you've got to go through before you can get to the bridge. So that's one of the major downsides. Another part of it is there's just too many ladders in this ship. There's too much going up and down. The interior layout is a bit unorthodox. It's obviously mapped out for a reason, because it's a bit difficult to navigate at first. Once you get used to it, it's fine. But overall, just too many ladders. You don't need that many ladders. I would try and see where you could put staircases instead. Makes a hell of a difference. If you've ever played much survival, you'll know that if you're in a rush, you're going to turn your jetpack on and you're going to try and zoom through the hallways as quickly as possible. And as I'm sure many of you have done before, you're going to slam into a wall and die, and then you have to respawn, which admittedly would put you behind the bridge, so maybe that's the better option. Yeah, I mean, other than that, there's not really too much to critique here. It's mostly the interior. I think the use of windows is excellent. And like I said, some people are going to whinge, but I think the use of windows is particularly good. It's nicely detailed. You've not gone too over the top with the greebling or the shapes, so the shape does blend very nicely with the hull, like you've built the bridge into the hull, and the thrusters and the guns. They all look like they're in the right sort of place. You could do more with the snout down here. You could potentially do some cutouts. Something literally as simple as that, and then add some heat vents, or I'm just literally messing about here, but just something to almost texture the front, if you know what I mean. Like I'd be tempted to do something like this. Something like that, you know, just to sort of break up that shape a little bit and make it look more structured. And then I would then follow that through, maybe using some beams, but obviously that's quite subjective. But other than that, like I said, not a lot to critique. Really good ship. If I was to rate it, I'd probably give it about an 8 out of 10. Fits my class of a destroyer perfectly. Lovely spaced armour, external connectors, big gun, and nice interior as well. Just a little bit on the complicated side. I would turn down the ladders and make the time to get to the bridge a bit quicker. Anyway, this is the Hound. I'm not going to say the first part because I don't know how to pronounce it, by Metrovania. If you guys want to check this ship out, the link will be in the description as always. Please like, comment and subscribe to support the channel. If you enjoyed, and take care, everybody.